10 minutes.
Is it okay with everyone if I sit down as I speak? I
Yeah.
just feel more comfortable sitting. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, today I'm going to talk about what David said, being Martha. And I will begin with a story before I tell you my purpose statement. So, it was a couple nights ago, I heard a story about a grandma. And the grandma's relationship with her daughter, a mom. See, in this story, the grandma lives 7 minutes away from her daughter's home, but it's a true story. They live 7 minutes away, but the grandma would never visit her daughter's home. And it hurt her daughter and it hurt her grandchildren a lot because they lived so close, but yet there was all this non-communication. The reasons, it wasn't not necessarily because there was something bad in the relationship, but because there was this lack of initiative. This is a true story. I heard it 2 nights ago. We were having a family discussion in my college group in college. And just when I heard that story about this grandma, for some reason, I just saw myself in that grandma. And so tonight, I just wanted to share with you something which I've identified a lot recently. I don't want to make it sound too extreme, but I've identified it a little bit recently. My own lack of initiative in relationships and like friendships and family. But also I'm sharing it so that you guys can help me be accountable to it and so that I can be able to grow forward from it and that this little part could be I can grow from it, okay? So I want to share about how I identified that I am, I don't have a firm sense of initiative in like relationships. I'll give you examples. So to begin, the past couple of days I've been reflecting a lot. High school, let's go to high school. Something I noticed about high school is there were these people that I spent a lot of time with. Like during school we would study together. But for some reason after high school ended, I haven't really kept in contact with the majority of them, and the only people I kept in contact with afterwards go to my college right now. So, in terms of lack of initiative, I didn't keep touch to even my closest school friends during that time. And back then I used to think, well, maybe I wasn't close to people because I just didn't invite them. That they didn't invite me to as many things. But then I realized it works kind of both ways. That I barely invited other people, at least in my school, my high school, to other events. And that is a lack of initiative on my part. Right now I'm in college, and it is a different story as of now. I'm around a lot of people, I have a lot of friends, but I pray that it won't end up being the same thing. Something I noticed the past 2 or 3 years was I would live in a different place a different building in school every year. But then something I noticed was people who were close to me the first year, if I didn't live near them the second year, I didn't really talk to them as much. There was this non-communication, not because there was something hurtful in the relationship, but just because I didn't take any initiative in the first place. So I noticed it between each quarter. I would take some classes with some people, hang out with them a lot during that quarter, but then after that quarter ended, I wouldn't see them for such a long time. And then, so basically this made me think, where does my relationships with people stand? Does it stand in what I do? Of course, the things that we do help us grow and help us meet people because we see common interests. But after that thing ends, do we get to know the people because of just because of that thing, or do we get to know them because of who they are? Are we interested in them as a person after we get to know them? So back home, okay? If a lot of you know, everyone I think in this room knows, our older siblings, Kuya and Ate, they recently moved away from home, And something I noticed is that they keep in touch with home. And that's something that's so beautiful. And I noticed something that David also keeps in touch with them. And honestly, that's something I look up to David for, if you didn't know that. That you constantly keep in touch with are my kuya and my ate, older brother and older sister. But yeah, compared with that, I don't really keep in touch as much. I text once in a while, but not really much, just because we don't live near each other. So this is something that I'm trying to grow in myself, to be able to have initiative in different people's relationships. So what are the various reasons for this, okay? As I was starting to think of this, I noticed that actually a lot of the relationships I have, it's easy for me to make friends. It might just because I know how to do a lot of things, and people ask me for help a lot of times. Like recently in the past Easter celebration, I was busy that entire day doing things because so many people would ask me to do things. But outside of the whole structures of everything, where does that stand? There's a lot of people I don't see outside of church. I mean, like, I see them in church, but I don't see them outside of it. Or I see them in school, in class, but I don't spend time to hang out with them afterwards. So I just asked you guys, could you pray for me in order to help me just to grow in this? And could you keep me accountable, like 3 weeks from now, a month from now, or several months from now? Just ask me. It's not awkward. Just ask me, can you take initiative to get to know people outside of the whole structures of everything? Because I have a few friends who have told me that it did hurt. They were going through something, but then I didn't take any initiative in the first place. And then so they said they felt hurt about it, that because they thought I was really close to them, but then I just didn't communicate with them afterwards. But so I don't know if there's anyone here in this room, but like if you're watching the video and you happen to hear me say this, I'm just sorry for not taking initiative, because I do want to be a loyal friend, and I do want to be a loyal brother, and I do want to be a loyal family member to everyone. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. And could you pray for me? And also, could you just help encourage me? And I just pray that our relationship would just blossom outside of the structures of everything. So thank you, everyone.